Hi folks, how you doing? So today is the 19th of September 2022, and once again here I am on my usual spot in downtown Sydney doing another video to edify the church. And I wanted to talk about a few things today actually. Now I do apologize, I haven't been on my channel for about a week now, mainly because last week was a very busy week for me and I only had a day off, which was on Saturday this past weekend. I was able to get on my electric scooter and I did some videos, and I already posted one for you guys, and I got some more that I will be posting during the week. So first things first, good news in that all you guys have heard that Israel now has the 5 red heifers. So this definitely tells us that we are in the end times. So it's another little boat of confidence, another tick that we can go, hey, we got something here that, it's also telling us that we are in the end times, aside from everything that is happening in the geopolitical, with the rumors of wars, and also what, Jesus told us in Matthew 24, there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and, everything that we had so far, we discovered, and with everything, so you guys know, so we're getting very close to the rapture of the church, but now I don't think that because of these red heifers that we're going to have the rapture of the church, come John Terua. So let me say this, right from the outset here, no rapture of the church in my view, come John Terua because of the red heifers. Now, what I've been trying to teach for a long time here in my channel is that the rapture of the church is going to be triggered under the mindset and under the problems that Israel has. It's not going to be triggered under the mindset of Christians. See, Christians think that the rapture of the church can happen at any moment, and that everything that needed to happen for the rapture of the church has already happened, and nothing needs to happen. And let us look at my watch here. For argument's sake, we can have the rapture of the church at any moment. No, that is absolutely not true, and don't believe any Bible scholar that teaches that, because between now in these end times that we are right now to the rapture of the church, there is anything between 40 to 60 plus Bible prophecies that will come to pass when we have the rapture of the church. And if you read, the book of the prophets, Ezekiel, Daniel, Jeremiah, Isaiah, the Gospels in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. We got, Psalm 90. I think in the book of Acts, there's one prophecy there, and also, the prophecies in the epistles of Paul, in Corinthians, and in Thessalonians, and so on. So there's Bible prophecies, there's quite a lot of Bible prophecies in the Bible itself, that will come to pass at the rapture of the church, and we can have the rapture at any moment. Let me make you realize this right now. Okay, so let us look at our watches once again so I can make a point of this, okay? Now, we can't have the rapture of the church at this split second because, Israel hasn't signed the covenant, it's about Daniel 9:27. So how can any Bible scholar say that we can have the rapture at any moment and that nothing is needed? If, let me just give you one, prophecy alone, Israel hasn't signed the, Daniel 9:27 covenant, or Isaiah 28:15. So we need something, at least one Bible prophecy, and I'm saying this to these Bible scholars that are saying that nothing needs to happen. Well, at least we need one. Give me that much before we have the rapture of the church. But like I just told you on top of my video, there's at least 40 to 60 plus, Bible prophecies that will come to pass between now and the rapture of the church. So a lot needs to happen. So not for one do I believe that when Bible scholars say that the rapture of the church can happen at any moment and that nothing is needed. Not for one moment, not even for one split second do I believe that, or will ever believe that at all. No. So moving forward, I think I told you that Israel, I just want people to understand that the rapture of the church will be triggered because of Israel's problems that they're having in the geopolitical area, with Hezbollah, Hamas, the Syrians, the Iranians. We know about this, Iran nuclear program. How these nations keep provoking the nation of Israel, and so Israel has a spiritual problem that they got to deal with, before the rapture of the church happened. This spiritual problem is, the dark forces, or the principalities that are behind, this threat that Israel is facing with these terrorists, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Syrians, the Iranians, and the Turks, and also the Russians. We know this from the Ezekiel 38, 39 war, and obviously we're going to have the Elam Bible prophecy in Isaiah 17.1. So, it's Israel that is going to trigger the rapture when they fulfill these 4 Bible prophecies. This is all on Israel's terms. Christians think that the rapture of the church can happen at any moment, and that it's under Christian terms. No, Jesus is not going to cause a rapture of the church, or he's not going to come to pick us up under the command of God the Father until Israel gets his 4 Bible prophecies out of the way. So, just the other day on YouTube, I heard a prominent Jewish Bible scholar. Now he's of the faith of being Jewish, not Christian or Messianic Jewish, just only Jewish alone. And he said that, we are wanting to get the Ezekiel war or the Ezekiel 38, 39 war out of the way. And then after that, we're going to be rebuilding the 3rd temple according to Ezekiel chapter 40 to 48. And then we are going to be waiting for the return of our Messiah. We know him as the Antichrist. And we want to make sure that he's got all the paperwork. We need to verify that he's from the Davidic, that he comes from the Davidic line, and of the line of Judah, or the tribe of Judah, if you like. We're going to verify that he's got all the correct paperwork, and he's going to be our Messiah. So this is what one prominent Jewish Bible scholar said on his YouTube channel, on a video that he did recently. And I thought to myself, gee whiz, I got to come on board my channel here to edify the church and make you aware what Ezekiel chapter 40 to 48 is all about. In the Bible scholar community, there is a lot of confusion about Ezekiel chapter 40 to 48. There's a lot of confusion, and from all the scholarly exegesis that I read out there on the internet, if you go to the internet, if you go to Google and you type, on the search engine, what does Ezekiel chapter 40 to 48 mean, you're gonna see a lot of prominent Bible scholars with very long, term papers or exegesis. And exegesis, you guys know that if you've been to uni, an exegesis is the last term paper that you do at the end of your course, okay? Or sometimes you do a capstone project, depending on what it is that you're studying, or you might do a very big term paper on, at the end, of your university course about something, your university main teacher will tell you, what this exegesis or term paper is going to be about, or what this capstone project is all about. That's how it works, at least here in Australia. I'm not sure about America, but anyway, I read a lot of these, long exegesis that all these Bible scholars have put out there, on the internet, and I've seen a lot of videos. And let me tell you from the outset that I disagree with all of them. with every single Bible scholar that has done or written, these very long exegesis, quoting, a lot of Bible references, enough to even confuse King Solomon, King Solomon, who is the wisest man alive of all time. God gave him wisdom, beyond the capability of any other human being. So King Solomon was the wisest person ever alive, and even in my view, even King Solomon will have a hard time, understanding all these exegesis that all these big-time Bible scholars have put out there on the internet and even on YouTube. Like, I disagree with all of them except for one YouTuber who put out a video about the whole description of this temple, if you like, described in the Book of Ezekiel, chapter 40 to 48. Now, when I was reading all these exegesis from all these Bible scholars, in my view, I don't believe in any of the exegesis. I don't believe in any of those YouTube videos that are out there with what these Bible scholars are saying about what the Book of Ezekiel is trying to say from chapter 40 to 48. Now, I have studied this myself, and a lot of Bible scholars saying that that this temple described in the Book of Ezekiel, chapter 40 to 48, is perhaps going to be some kind of future temple. Perhaps it will be the third temple. Perhaps it will be a millennial kingdom temple, and perhaps it could be the temple that we are going to get as the New Jerusalem. When we are in eternity with God. Now, what Ezekiel 40 to 48 is all about is that in order for you to know exactly what Ezekiel 40 to 48 is all about, you need to read Ezekiel chapter 43, verse 10. That's right. Ezekiel chapter 43, verse 10 is the foundation stone, or is the cornerstone to understanding what Ezekiel chapter 40 to 48 is all about. That's right. Chapter 43, verse 10 is the foundation keystone to understanding what Ezekiel 40 to 48 is all about. Now, and it reads, Son of man, describe the temple to the house of Israel, that they might be ashamed of their iniquities. So, those few words is exactly what, Ezekiel chapter 40 to 48 is all about, because, the first temple was destroyed by King Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, and obviously, they took a lot of, the reminders of Jewish people that were left alive from the burning of the first temple, and from that little war, they took it into captivity to Babylon. And Ezekiel, the priest, was by the side of the river Kibar, and he saw visions of God, and he went up, and long story short, God wanted to tell Ezekiel to tell his people that the reason that that they lost the first temple, it was because of their sin, because of their inequities. And God was trying to tell Ezekiel by saying, Son of man, prophesy to the house of Israel, and they didn't know about this temple, how God was describing the temple to Ezekiel, that temple that God described to Ezekiel was how things should have been in the first place. Solomon should have built the first temple according to these instructions that God gave to Ezekiel, and also how the land was to be divided amongst the 12 tribes of Israel. If the Jewish people would have listened to God and followed His ordinances and not sin against Him, they should have built a perfect temple like God described to Ezekiel, from Ezekiel 40 to 48, So that's what God was trying to tell Ezekiel, tell your people, tell the Jewish people that because of the sins or inequity, things could have been perfect for them, They could have the perfect temple, they could have divided the land, the promised land, according to my instructions, they could have divided the land properly, unto the 12 tribes of Israel, precisely like I wanted you guys to do it. You could have rebuilt the first temple precisely according to my conditions, but because of your iniquity and sin, you fell miserably. And God is saying, this is the example that I wanted you guys to have as a temple, and this is how I wanted you guys to divide the land amongst yourselves, but you fell miserably. And so that's why that verse in Ezekiel chapter 43 verse 10 is the foundation stone or the cornerstone about what Ezekiel chapter 40 to 48 is all about. Basically all those numbers, all those measurements, and when you read in the chapters about the portions to the 12 tribes of Israel, all that is a full description. God was good to Ezekiel, God was telling, because it was the first temple ever burned, they were in shock, and obviously they were really down, and so God wanted to let them know, hey, don't do this to me again, if you actually follow my instructions, things will have been like this. You will have had the perfect temple, the perfect division of land amongst all the 12 tribes. It will have been perfect, and God is showing Ezekiel, it should have been like this all along, but you guys, with your iniquity, you fell miserably and you messed it all up. That's why you are here in captivity. That's what the chapters of Ezekiel from 40 to 48 is all about. But Bible scholars, they don't understand that. They don't get it. They're coming up with all sorts of exegesis, long essays, long-term papers, and they're taking everything out of context, because the true context or the true exegesis of Ezekiel 40 to 48 is actually what God said in His Word. Everything that God said in chapter 40 to 48 in Ezekiel, that's precisely what God wanted to say, in all of this, But yeah, Bible scholars are taking all of these out of context with their description, in their exegesis or very long essay term papers or their own personal description. They're taking everything out of context. They, instead of using the Bible according to God, He's saying this, quoting all the verses from Ezekiel 40 to 48. These Bible scholars are using verses from other chapters in the Bible. They're making a meal out of all this, they're getting it wrong. And Ezekiel 40 to 48 is not about a future temple that needs to be rebuilt according to His measurements or whatever. It's not about that at all. It's all it is God saying to Ezekiel to go and prophesy, go and tell the children of Israel that, hey, you guys messed it all up. Your temple should have been like this according to these dimensions. You should have divided the land according to how I'm telling you here. And if you've done all this, if you follow, my ordinances from the beginning, you wouldn't be in the trouble that you are in today. That's what, these chapters are all about. But, I think Bible scholars are making a meal out of this, they're getting everything out of context. The true context is what God is saying in His Word from 40 to 48, and not what other Bible scholars are saying within their own, interpretations and opinions. This is not a matter of, a Bible scholar opinion or their own interpretation. This is about what is holy and true. What is holy and true? What God described He Himself, in Ezekiel 40 to 48. He's just trying to make the Israeli people realize, hey, things should have been like this. You will have had the perfect temple, you will have given the perfect land portions to the 12 tribes of Israel. But, with your inequity and your sin, you messed it all up. God is just reminding the Israelis by using Ezekiel to, hey, things could have been really good, but you guys messed it all up. That's what it's all about. So, I just wanted to say this. So, moving forward, I just wanted to say that, the rapture of the church, it's not going to happen during Yom Teruah or Yom Kippur or Sukkot. The fact that Israel hasn't fulfilled not one of the prophecies yet in the timetable, either Isaiah 17 or Jeremiah 49, by now, today is September 19th, this tells me that I think that Israel will probably allow the nation of Israel to celebrate this tree feast. And I think the last one in Sukkot is in early October. And perhaps Israel might do, one of these Isaiah or Elam prophecies come November. And so I'm thinking that the rapture of the church could possibly occur, by late February, early March, in my view, because obviously you've got to allow time, for the fulfillment of these 4 much of our prophecies, because, they're going to take time from one to the other, so it's going to be a progression, if you like, and a domino effect all the way to the rapture of the church. So that's my view on things. So, and like I said on top of my video, let me remind you that this is not a problem for the church. It's a problem that it's for the Jewish nation of Israel, that they got to deal with these 4 Bible prophecies. Christians have to change their mindset and think that it's a problem for Israel, to solve before we have the rapture of the church. So I wanted you guys to edify you with this. Now, also I wanted to talk about one of my videos that I did about the 144,000. That video seems to be gaining some traction for some reason. I don't know why, but I was looking at it last night, and the audio is not that great, especially for the first 5 to 10 minutes. So it's a little bit dodgy. So I do apologize, but let me just quickly recap what I wanted to say in that video of the 144,000. Now, what's going to happen is that after the 6th seal, okay, in the book of Revelation, these 144,000 are going to be raptured out. So if you read chapter 7, it says, and it begins by saying this, and after all of these, meaning after Jesus has fulfilled the opening of the first 6 seals, that these 144,000 are going to be redeemed as first fruits unto God the Father and unto Jesus Christ. So that will be raptured out during the trip after seal number 6 is open. And it says that I need to follow Jesus wherever Jesus is. So because Jesus will be, dishing out, God's wrath or God's punishment in heaven, then these 144,000 will be in heaven because I need to follow Jesus wherever Jesus is, according to the book of Revelation. So no more and no less than that. So, after the 6th seal, they're not going to be in Israel anymore. They're going to be raptured and they're going to be in heaven with Jesus. So I just wanted to edify the church by saying this. And also another problem that I heard some Bible scholars saying recently is that there could be a rapture at the end of the tribulation period, according to Matthew 24:31. Not so, in my view. What Matthew 24:31 means is that, an angel is going to blow a trumpet and gather the elect from the 4 winds of heaven. It says heaven, not earth, okay? If it was earth, then yes, it would be a rapture for earthlings. But because it's heaven, it's actually us, the elect, that we're going to be, Jesus is going to cause his angel to blow a trumpet to say to us, the signs, hey, you guys, trumpet, gather, because you're going to be following Jesus for the battle of Armageddon and for the millennial kingdom, the 1,000-year reign with Jesus. So, I just wanted to, say this to you guys to edify the church. And my view of when his third temple is going to be rebuilt. I've done a video on this a while back now. Basically, in my view, after Israel, fulfills, the Ezekiel word 38, 39, the Antichrist is going to rock up. Israel will sign the covenant. As soon as I sign the covenant, obviously they're going to, the Antichrist or the Messiah is going to say, look, I want you guys to begin rebuilding the third temple, because we're going to have the rapture of the church then, as soon as they sign the covenant and the man of sin rocks up, according to Paul in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. And so they need to start rebuilding the third temple immediately, because the two witnesses, Moses and Elijah, are going to come immediately after the rapture of the church, because the Bible says that they're going to be there for 1,260 days, which is 3.5 years. And so because they're going to be overseeing the construction of the third temple, the two witnesses are going to come immediately after the rapture of the church. So the construction of the temple will happen. There could be a gap. I don't know. This is what we are yet to know, because once Israel signs a covenant with the Antichrist, I don't know whether the Antichrist is going to come out right away, okay? And and we'll have the rapture of the church, okay? And Israel will begin the construction of the third temple immediately, or it could be that Israel signs the covenant with the Antichrist, and then it might take a little while. Who knows? There could be a little bit of a gap when these men of sin will rock up saying, hey, I got Israel's signature, I'm ruling here for the next 7 years. I don't know if there might be a little bit of a gap afterwards when Israel signs his covenant, so that the Antichrist can get to know how can I put it? Sort of like a politicize, he's coming with all the rabbis in Israel and so on. And so this could take perhaps a little time, introductions and things like that, if you know what I mean. And so if that does happen, he could rock up maybe a week after, 2 weeks after. Perhaps Israel, as soon as they confirm that he's from that line of David and from the tribe of Judah, he's got all his paperwork, they must start rebuilding the temple right away. So we'll see how this pans out. So, but the temple will need to be rebuilt pretty much as soon as Israel signs the covenants, but Daniel 9:27, because the two witnesses will be coming down precisely for 3.5 years. So I just wanted to edify the church with this. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Long video now. I'll endeavor to do another video later. All right, guys.